I was trying not to stare too hard at the Vanguard, right up until we climbed over the safety railing at the edge of the overlook. The Vanguard was a guy, judging by the vestigial horns between his ears, early middle age, brown-furred, with high-end but hard-worn hoosh shoes, leggings and tunic. A Vanguard who'd been well off once, but had fallen on hard times. That might explain why he was climbing over the rail at the edge of a 1,000-foot scenic drop-off. He grabbed the railing with all four hands and clumsily swung both right legs over, then his left ones. He stood there on the edge for a moment, ears flicking in the breeze, those big meat-sheared teeth bared to the sunset, obviously nerving himself for the big step. "Hey, bud," I called out to him, coming out of the shadows under the trees. "What's up?" He swung his head to me so quickly, I was afraid I'd startled him into a fall. "Stay back, human," he hissed at me. "Don't try to stop me." I pulled my hands out of my hoodie and held them up in a peace gesture. "Hey, no worries, man. I'm just asking what you're up to." The Vanguard rolled his eyes, which means the same thing for Vanguard as it does for humans, and said, "Isn't it obvious? I'm painting the fucking sunset." Withering sarcasm is another thing our species have in common. "Really?" I asked, easing in his direction. "It looks like you're about to paint the rocks down below instead." The Vanguard coughed out the kind of laugh that you make when you really don't want to find something funny but do anyway. "Yeah, that's the plan. Not much guessed by you fucking skinnies, huh?" That was a politically incorrect Vanguard term for humans. Not quite a slur, but not quite an affectionate nickname. I replied with a smirk. "Hey now, let's leave the racism out of the conversation, you fucking spider llama." I returned the skinny remark in kind. He scowled at me. "How about we just don't converse at all then?" "But why not, man? You in a hurry? I mean, if you've got somewhere to be, don't let me hold you up." I pulled out a knock stick and lit it, taking a couple of hits. The Vanguard just stared at me with a mix of curiosity and mistrust. "I don't think you're supposed to be smoking that," he said after a bit. I gave him a grin. "You gonna rat me out?" He just snorted and went back to staring out at the cliff, over the acres of blue-green parkland below, and across the city landscape that was just flickering to life as the sun settled low in the east. I heard him sigh. "As last sights go, you could definitely do worse than that," I said, leaning on the rail not too far from him. The Vanguard was quiet for a while, then said, kind of tiredly, Yeah, you could." He craned his long neck to peer at the cliff face 1,000 feet below. I could see his back knees tremble, just a little. I blew a smoke ring and watched the gentle updraft lift it and pull it apart. It was quiet up here, since the sable glider flocks were all up north for mating season. The bustle of the city was muted to a quiet background hum. Not unpleasant. Not unpleasant at all. The Vanguard was still holding the rail with one hand. I let the quiet hang for a bit. The Vanguard's breathing was kind of ragged as he kept eyeing that long drop, and I could see his knuckles clench and unclench on that metal rail. "So," I said, "you want to talk about it?" "What does it matter to you, human?" The Vanguard's voice had an edge of bitterness, but just an edge. There was still something else there. What does it matter to anyone? I shrugged. "I ain't talking about me, man. I asked you if you want to talk about it. It's all on you, dude." The Vanguard turned and glared at me, lips curled back in anger. "That's right, human. It's all on me. All of it. All my fault and all mine to deal with. Well, I'm about to fucking deal with it." I pulled out another knockstick and lit it, then offered him the filter end. "You want a hit, man? This shit'll chill you out some." He just stared at the smouldering spliff, mouth open and closing a couple of times. Finally he said, "That stuff's illegal." "So suicide. But I won't tell if you won't." The Vanguard took the knockstick in one of his upper hands, holding it awkwardly, like it was a bug he'd caught, and he wasn't sure whether it had a stinger or not. He lifted it to his muzzle, then stopped and stared at it for a moment. I've heard this stuff is pretty bad for you." I finished my own spliff and crushed out the butt under my heel. "Yeah, I've heard the same thing about jumping off cliffs." The Vanguard grunted that same "this isn't really funny" laugh, and stuck the knockstick between his lips. And after a rough start and a little encouragement from yours truly, he was toking like an old hand. The near silence, the solitude, and the distant muted music of city life was all the better with a tranquil little buzz going. The planet's sun was huge and orange, so sunset took a while to finish, and while it was going on, the sky would do amazing things with colour. To even call it art was to demean it. It was that gorgeous. The Vanguard and I sewed it all in together. He on his side of the safety railing, and me on mine. One of the amazing things about the view from here I said after a while, is how small everything looks. Things that are huge and important down there are just tiny little shadows from up here. Perspective is what you mean, the Vanger replied, the narc making him slow his words a little, and taking some of the growl out of them. You get perspective from here. Like, being at the edge of something so huge makes you realize that all those other big things in your life aren't really that much bigger than you after all. He swept the free hands that weren't holding the railing, at the panorama before us, then stopped, as though groping with them. It's like how being right at the edge of death, of knowing you'll be dead in just a moment, makes every other problem in your life look so much lesser by comparison. I grunted, nodding. So, death's a problem now, rather than the answer. Ah, fuck you, human, you know what I mean. He gazed down at the cliff face again, barely visible as twilight began swallowing us and the parklands below. His knees weren't trembling anymore, but that bottom left hand was holding tighter than ever to the railing. I gave him a moment, but not too long, just in case, and asked again, So, you want to talk about it? The Vanger blew out a long, gusty sigh. The kind that makes your whole body slump, then wave their hand in emotion. That means the same as a human shaking their head. He closed his eyes and leaned his head back. No, he said, I really don't, but... He swallowed so thickly, he had to clear his throat. I don't think I want to jump either. Not just now, I think. I think I've got at least a few more days left in me. That's good, man. That's just how you gotta live sometimes. I put a hand on the arm that was holding the railing. This world wants so bad to kill you and tries so hard that all you can do is say, not today, bitch. Maybe tomorrow, but you ain't getting me today. That's good. One of the Vanger's ears flicked in amusement, just a little bit. I should tell it that. Yeah, you should. I think I expected the Vanger to yell or something, but he didn't. He thrust out his upper right hand, finger pointing towards the cluster of buildings off in the city's business district. There were bank headquarters there, brokerage and trading houses, that sort of thing. Not today, bitch, the Vanger said, flatly, conversationally, as though informing a colleague of a simple fact. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. Not today. Cool, man. Very cool. I held out a hand to him. You need a hand getting back over the railing? He grasped my hand in one of his lower ones. No, he replied, but I'll take the help anyway. And with just a bit of heaving and neon rail bonking, we got him back onto the right side of the railing. Thank you for all of it, I guess, he said awkwardly. I waved that off. No worries, bro. Glad to help. It's just one of those things. Life and all that shit, you know. I think I do know, the Vanger sighed. He looked a little embarrassed now, ears going flat and clutching his hooves in place. So what brings you up here anyway? Do you just hang out at the Overlook all the time, dispensing drugs and wisdom or what? Now it was my turn to be embarrassed and shuffle my feet and find other places to look. Ah, shit, I hate to admit this now. What? The Vanger cocked his head, frowning. Oh well. Nothing to it but to do it. I sighed and stuck a hand in my hoodie pocket. When I drew it back out, I was holding the junky gauze pocket pistol I've been carrying for the last 3 weeks. It was a cheap little pot metal slug thrower, but then I didn't need anything elaborate or durable for my purposes. I held it up for the Vanger to see in the fading light. The Vanger's eyes widened. I'll be damned, human. You mean, you came up here for the same reason I did, to kill yourself? And putting me back from the edge pulled you back too? That's so crazy. Now I was really embarrassed, and jammed the pistol back into my pocket. What? No, dude, I wasn't going to off myself. I was up here to mug you. The Vanger's expression froze, ears stopping him mid-flick. Wait, what? Yeah, man. No witnesses up here, no cops. I saw a well-dressed Vanger all alone and figured you'd be the perfect mark. I just stick the gun in your back and tell you your money or your life, asshole. But then you climbed over that rail and I was like, well, shit. And, well, you know the rest. I twisted my toe on the ground. It was kind of hard to look him in the face after admitting that. There was a long pause, and then the Vanger was doubled over the mid-body, slapping his front legs with all 4 hands and howling out laughter. The joke's on you, asshole, he gasped, pointing at me with an upper hand. I am totally and completely flat-ass broke. I couldn't help sniggering myself. Yeah, well, I said. The joke's actually on you, asshole, because I ain't got any bullets anyway. And that set us both to laughing. Laughing until we were crying as, arm in arm, we set off down the trail, and back towards the world again.